Red Dead 2 is such a massive game that even 6 years after its release date, still has a ton of stuff that people don't realize you can do. And today, we'll be taking a look at exactly that. Here are 10 overlooked mechanics in Red Dead Redemption 2 that'll surely get you playing again. Number 1. Dueling strangers. There's a language to Western media, and gun duels are its vowels. Having a game set in the old American West without duels is like eating pizza without cheese, or a burger without cheese, or eating anything without cheese. Yet in Red Dead 2, gun duels are nowhere to be seen. They were everywhere in the first game, so where are they now? Well, it turns out that Rockstar hid this mechanic away for some reason. Duels may no longer be a part of stories and side missions, but they can still be done with some of the townsfolk. Simply find someone that's carrying iron and antagonize them, then focus on the person and slowly squeeze the trigger to get ready to draw. Then, when they finally draw, you can unleash a flurry of bullets at them. It's just like shooting Micah, except a lot more realistic and a lot less satisfying. Number 2. Changing weights. If GTA San Andreas taught children anything, it's that eating too much fast food will turn you into a fat, bloated mess. That and memorization skills. How else was I going to spawn in a jetpack at will? But in the 1890s, being overweight was considered a privilege and a sign of wealth. As such, plus-sized people were often praised rather than ridiculed. There were even competitions on who could hoard enough wealth and donuts to get as overweight as possible. Red Dead 2 follows this philosophy much more than meets the eye. I'm sure you're all aware that Arthur can gorge on all the canned sardines and candy that you can force feed into his virtual mouth. But a part that many players miss is how the effects of this go beyond mere cosmetics. If you decide to make Arthur overweight, then he'll not only have a very respectable dad bod, but also have more health, at the cost of lower stamina. Alternatively, if you do the opposite and feed him nothing, then Arthur will become as thin as a rail and as fast as a plane, but at the cost of having less health. It's now up to you to decide whether you want your Arthur to be the next Ron Swanson or Timothy Chalamet. Take your pick. Number 3. Pick up and slam enemies. Although Red Dead 2's gunplay is simple yet satisfying, Rockstar has always fallen short when the time comes to throw hands. That being said, Red Dead 2 has the best hand-to-hand combat mechanics out of any other Rockstar game, hands down. And while I'm sure you know the standard punches, kicks and chokeholds, there are a few tricks up Red Dead 2's sleeve that even I didn't know of, until now. In case punching, slapping and smacking wasn't humiliating enough, Rockstar also allows you to repeatedly grand slam people, pick them back up, and do it all over again. Simply press down the left stick and watch as the poor person on the receiving end gets picked up and thrown down by the throat. Number 4. Opossums play dead. Hunting is the prime sport of prehistoric humans and rich podcasters. Do with that information what you will. However, in the 19th century, hunting and gathering was still very much a means of survival. To stay true to this, Red Dead 2 has an entire compendium of fauna to hunt, from coyotes to cougars, and I'm not just talking about your mother. One of the strangest animals on this list is the opossum. In the wild, these marsupials will eat anything and everything, but some animals are just too big and ferocious to fit in the opossum's tiny mouth. So, when the time comes that they encounter a predator and it's too late to run, opossums will try to play dead. What's cool is that you can see this phenomenon happen in Red Dead 2. Just begin to chase one of them at night until it runs out of gas, and it will look like the possum had a heart attack. In reality, it's just playing its final hand and hoping to pray to the opossum gods that you're not attracted to dead animals. Unfortunately for the opossum, I have a hat to make, and its pelt is the perfect material. Number 5. Dogs protect their owners. Dogs are the best pets you can own, and it's not even a question. I certainly don't hear ferrets being called man's best friend. Don't believe me? Just pick a fight with a dog owner in Red Dead 2 and see what happens. 1 second, you'll have a poor man on the ground and begging for his life, and before you know it, you'll suddenly be held to the ground by a dog's teeth before it turns your throat into its midday snack. So, the next time you feel like putting on your asshole hat, Make sure the people you plan to intimidate don't have any furry companions nearby. Number 6. Fast reload. It's easy to romanticize the 1800s without knowing about the everyday hardships people faced. I mean, come on, how bad could things be? You had endless stretches of nature, unrivaled housing prices, and a lifespan so short that you won't even have time to experience life's bad moments. Yeah, it turns out that life's pretty hard without computers, medicine, and law and order. But if you're a real don't tread on me type, then such amenities are merely distractions from life's supposed true purpose: freedom and guns. And while you may win on the freedom front, as soon as you find out that the guns from this era take as long to reload as filing your taxes. This is most obvious with the bolt-action rifles, which take so long to reload, it might as well be considered a pregnancy. But there are some workarounds to make the process quicker. After taking your shot with the bolt-action rifle, immediately press the fire button again and watch as a secret reload animation is played that makes reloading bolt-action rifles go from feeling like a visit to the DMV to a visit to, well, anything other than a visit to the DMV. Number 7. Bandanas. For a company known for making games about playing criminals, it's surprising to see how long it took Rockstar to consider masks as a mechanic. I mean, it's mandatory equipment for the job, just like how surgeons have to wear scrubs, or how painters have to wear French berets. Thankfully, Red Dead 2 makes masks finally have a use beyond being the final part of your edgy GTA Online outfit. This all has to do with Red Dead 2's Wanted system. Instead of having an unknown party indefinitely call the police on you, Red Dead 2 works its system off witnesses. In short, if you commit a crime but nobody sees it, then there's no crime. If somebody does see it, then be prepared to be chased by the law, do-gooder citizens, and bounty hunters for the rest of your days, or until you get your bounty cleared. But when you throw masks into the mix, things can get complicated. Now, even if someone sees you, witnesses can't say for sure who you are. As such, a bounty cannot be immediately put on your head after committing a crime. Not only does this mean that you get more of a chance to get away from the heinous acts you committed scot-free, but you can also look terrifying while doing so. But be warned, while civilians might be fooled by a mask, it was standard issue for lawmen in the 1800s to have a Kiroshi optics installed, and as a result, they can see right through the linen cloth covering your face. Number 8. Look at the time. Time, the great equalizer. It's something that we all have, yet nobody can get more of. Needless to say, it's important to track this phenomenon so you don't waste your precious hours doing something you hate, like working a dead-end job or playing GTA Online. The same can be said for our virtual buddies in the Red Dead universe. It's only a matter of time until the law, tuberculosis, and lumbago catch up to our partners in crime. So, telling the time can be pretty important for many reasons. But how does one do that? If you're bored, you could just press down on your D-pad and immediately see the time, forecast, and current location like you have a damn Apple Watch on your wrist. Or you can please the immersion gods by going into your inventory and taking out a pocket watch. Now, you can truly feel like a rooting, tooting cowboy from the 1800s and read the time the old-fashioned way, clock hands and all. If only I could read. Number 9. Crafting on horseback. Red Dead 2 is praised for many things. Convenience is not one of them. Whether you're shooting down a horde of O'Driscolls, looting dilapidated homes, or just trying to go for a damn walk, the game always seems to try to take as much time doing something as possible. I say it's time to take our precious time back from Red Dead 2's greedy, time-stealing hands in any way we can. The most effective way we can do this is with our horse. I won't sit here and talk about traveling on horseback rather than on foot. That, I'm sure you already knew. Something you might not know is how you can craft bullets on horseback. Everyone on the Red Dead subreddit will tell you to always use split-point bullets instead of the stock option, and for good reason. Split-point bullets are much more accurate and powerful at no cost. But I know I'm not the only one who doesn't want to sit around a campfire all day etching out X's on the tip of my bullets. This is where the horse comes in. Simply open up your inventory while going at a slow trot and watch as Arthur begins to split his bullets with the precision of a neurosurgeon while he and his steed slowly walk toward his next target. Not only is it useful, it's also incredibly badass, which is always a plus. Number 10. Directional dodging. Red Dead 2 might get more praise than some religious figures, but that doesn't mean it didn't have its share of controversy. While the game's emphasis on realism might be seen as its biggest strength, upon release it was nothing more than a chore to clumsily control Arthur room to room as he knocked things over and hit walls. These problems would only exacerbate themselves during combat. Where most shooters would have the decency to have an engaging movement system, combat in Red Dead 2 felt like you were climbing rocks in Death Stranding, with the addition of dozens of people shooting at you. Worst of all, this is coming from the same studios behind Max Payne 3, a game with some of the slickest movement systems around. But all hope is not lost. Rockstar did implement some mechanics to channel your inner hard-boiled detective and make the shooting feel nicer. Simply press the jump button while you're aiming down sights, and behold, as Arthur dive bombs his face right into the mud. Similar to Arthur's dive, the implementation of this mechanic feels half-assed, but the mechanic is not without its uses. Unlike most of the game's movement mechanics, dive bombing is one of the most consistent ways to go in the direction you want to. It also doesn't hurt that you look stylish while doing it.